View is threatening. And it's going to be out of play here, so Frank W. Cox is going to bring the ball back up the field. Mountain View now on the defensive side. Ball goes across the halfway line and out of play again. It will remain in Frank W. Cox's possession. We'll call him Cox High School. Got a cold morning here today to kick off the state semifinals. I'm sure these players aren't going to be feeling it too much with all this adrenaline they've got in their system right now.
Actually, it's perfect hockey weather, Taylor.
Well, I'm sure they appreciate it then. High launch ball, but Cox still has possession. And they've had the ball in Mountain View territory for quite some time now. Mountain View trying to get it up the field, and Cox playing pretty solid defense so far. Mountain View's got it on the far side of the field, trying to get something going offensively here, and they are threatening. There's a nice save there by the goalie.
That'd be Becca Hess.
Becca Hess has no doubt been instrumental in their run here to the state postseason. Mountain View threatening again, trying to get a good look offensively to take a shot. And we've got a dead ball here. Mountain View clears it, trying to find a good look and an opportunity to get into this Cox defense, but they are struggling to find something. This Cox defense is stifling. And another save there by the goalie, Becca Hess. And the ball's out of play. Cox will retain possession. We've sure got a windy one here. You may hear some of the wind coming over the mics. Windy but beautiful morning here in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Score still 0-0 here in the first half, I should say. And of course, this is the state semifinal match. The winner of this goes on to the state championship game for the AAA division. And the pass there is intercepted, but it's taken right back by Mountain View. Cox in possession, clears the ball down the field, no one there, and it'll be Mountain View's possession now. Ball back in play. Cox has the ball. They're trying to get inside to get to scoring position, and Mountain View just takes it right away. Getting into that passing lane, taking away the ball. And these girls are absolutely hustling to get on top of this ball. And it's out of play. Cox keeps possession. And Mountain View has got transition going here. Ball's in the corner of the field right now. Mountain View got it inside scoring range. They're trying to find an opportunity here. And it goes out of play on the far side. Another save there by Becca Hess. Now, Terry, just from your observation, I mean, what are some of the keys for both teams here to be able to win? Which teams have a leg up, and what are some things that you're noticing here early on?
Well, both teams seem to be trying to attack up the right side, which is the strong side for the attack, going against the defense's weak side. But Mountain View's been having to bring their attack up on the left because Cox is swinging it over to their right. The key is to try to get the defense spread out, penetrate, and try to draw a corner and get a scoring off that.
It'll be interesting to see which team is going to draw first blood here based off of their strategies they're coming into this game with.
We're still early, and I think both teams are just kind of feeling each other out.
You got to imagine that there's a little bit of nerves that go along with playing in such a deep round of the postseason as well.
Well, neither of these teams are strangers to the state tournament, so hopefully they're not too nervous.
Yeah, that's very true. Frank Cox High School has been to 20 semifinals now, and they've won it 17 out of those 20 times. So, just like you said, they're no strangers to being here, but they're also no strangers to success at this level either.
Yeah, that's correct, Taylor. And Mountain View is a young program, and I believe they've been here 3 out of the past 4 seasons.
Yeah, they've definitely had their fair share of getting cracks at the state championship. And they seem to be building a pretty successful program down there. Like you said, they've been here for a few years now, out of the past few seasons, and you can't help but notice the success that has been starting to build there. A little bit of contact here as Cox tries to bring the ball up the field. Mountain View has had the ball inside of Cox's territory for quite some time. This is very good play here by Mountain View.
We're still seeing a lot of the play, though, in between the 25s. Neither team has really gotten too good of an opportunity to set up a corner.
It seems like the defensive pressure, once they get inside the 25s, is just stifling. Neither team really seems to be getting a great look. And of course, to be at this round of state, you have to have a good defense. So that just speaks levels to how well they play on both sides of the ball. Mountain View bringing the ball back up the field, threatening again. Tries the shot, but it's just not having. That's number 13. Olivia Hubbard, or Hubert, I should say. Back as clears the ball.
I believe the official might have called that danger and brought it out as a free hit just outside the circle.
The ball goes out of play on the far sideline. Mountain View is going to have possession. Brings the ball in. And Frank Cox takes it right away. field. Looks like it's going to be entered in from the sideline again. The Falcons, correction, the Wildcats are going to get possession of it. So now the Wildcats get the ball again on the sideline.
And that was an obstruction call. Obviously, one of the Attack's players and blocked each other out.
Those calls cannot be stationary. You're blocking somebody who still has to be moving. Mountain View doing a pretty solid job here keeping possession. Trying to find something offensive. But again, just like you said earlier, Terry, once they get towards the 25, they're just not getting those looks they like to have. Swings the ball to the near side. Someone who's sitting there in the Falcons are trying to get across the halfway mark. Another one hit. A free. And Mountain View bringing the ball up the field. They get the stop, but it's going to be hit out of play. It seems like the Falcons are very, very fast, very aggressive on the offensive end. And Mountain View likes to take their time and try to break down this defense. Because a lot of the times we've seen them get it into this position. They just kind of work the ball around, try and find a good opportunity to score, but this Falcon defense is just tough.
Like I said, both teams try to penetrate the circle, try to draw a foul, and then go into their set pieces and hopefully try to get a score.
Now Mountain View gets the ball, and they are trying to get through this Cox defense. They've kind of extended it past the halfway mark a little bit to apply some defensive pressure, and Mountain View seems to be getting through it. And the ball is going to be put out of play. So Falcons will get the ball back here. We're at about the 16-minute mark, it looks like. Kind of tough to see the scoreboard from here, so almost halfway through the first half. We are scoreless here in the first round, or in the first game, I should say, of the state semifinals of AAA. Ball out of play. Of course, Mountain View has quite an experienced goalie in the net for them. Caitlin Nolan, she's a senior. They went 16-0 in the regular season, so they are still going strong. Like you And the Falcons on the attack again offensively, and Wildcats just not having it. But again, going back to the records, of course, Mountain View having an undefeated season so far, and Cox not so much. They won 11-5, but don't be deceived. They are in one tough area to be playing field hockey, especially against teams such as Lakeland, and you've got Princess Anne, some tough teams out there. Cape Henry. Then, of course, they've played a few. Seems like a private school or two, but this area is just known for having some successful field hockey teams, especially First Colonial, little schools like that. They've been in the postseason almost regularly.
Yeah, Cox and First Colonial have met, I believe, 3 or 4 times this season, regular season and postseason in the district and regional tournament. So they're familiar with each other, and the competition is good for each other.
Yeah, and they're both no strangers to the area as well. I mean, they're down here in the Virginia Beach region, and when they met in the regular season, First Colonial and Frank W. Cox, it resulted in a loss for Cox, but don't be deceived again. I mean, they have the talent to be able to make a good championship run. I mean, that's why they're here. So I'm sure that they are prepared to take on any challengers. Falcons bring the ball up the field. It was a little long here, so Mountain View is going to try and clear it. Here.
This is the first penalty corner of the game. It'll be interesting to see Cox offense against the Mountain View defense.
And this is one of the most exciting plays of the game right here.
And again, the ball must come outside of the circle and then brought back in before it can be scored.
And the shot is good, and the Frank Cox Falcons draw first blood at about the 10-minute mark. And they take a 1-0 lead over the Mountain View Wildcats. Boy, that's some impressive stuff right there.
Yes, it is. It's always exciting to see a team score off of a penalty corner.
And that was number 4, Mallory Roach, and she's a senior midfielder, also a team captain. So again, we talk about the upperclassmen and the veteran leadership that these teams have, and there you go. That's who your first goal comes from. And that's impressive there from Frank Cox. Again, their offense has been struggling a little bit to start out, but they capitalize on the PK and they get the goal.
Penalty corner.
Or penalty corner. I don't know why I should say PC, I guess, right?
PC would be okay.
But I'm a Mac guy. I don't know if I can say that.
That's all right. Well, like you say, what's interesting is that was really Cox's first opportunity to score, and that they did. So that's exciting.
And they're threatening again here. I mean, this could be something where they could really build some more offensive momentum if they can come up with a goal on this possession.
And the official just issued a warning card to one of the Mountain View players. I'm not really sure what she issued the card for. But in field hockey, like soccer, they do get warning cards. If they get a yellow card, then they're going to have to sit out for at least 5 minutes. It can be 2 to 5 minutes, but the yellow card is 5 minutes. In international and college, they have a 2-minute green card, but we don't do that here at the high school level.
And Cox still has offensive possession here. Mountain View takes away, though. And they're battling for it around midfield. Mountain View's going to slow it down a little bit, try and get something going offensively, and the ball is just kind of overshot, so the Falcons have the ball once again.
Like I say, usually the first 5 minutes after a goal is crucial for both teams.
You can definitely sense that Cox has some momentum here now, especially especially after that goal. I mean, that's going to build your confidence, especially when you're scoring relatively early.
I'm sure the Falcons would like to hold on to this lead going into the halftime.
Yeah, you always want to be up at halftime so you can go into the locker room and kind of talk about things you can build on rather than things that you need to tweak. It's always nice to build off of momentum.
Since this time, they've moved down to Chula Vista, and they train and compete out of there.
This is a pretty impressive facility overall. I mean, we've got a huge football stadium right across the way here. So they've definitely spared no expense in making this facility top-notch.
The field hockey facility, we have hosted international events here. We have had the Champions Challenge, which is the teams 7 through 12 in the country. And we've had that tournament here and some other friendly matches with international opponents.
And we've got another penalty here, and Frank Cox is going to get possession back, and it looks like there was some kind of foul. Player got knocked down, so here we go again for the Falcons offense.
Yeah, no one said that this wasn't a contact sport, but what the officials are looking for is whether it's an advantage or whether it's really dangerous.
I think the only sport you could say that is not contact is golf.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyone who argues that most of these other sports are not contact, well, they just need to go out there and play and then find out for themselves. And Frank Cox trying to clear the ball. Mountain View's got a great opportunity here with the ball coming into play from the sideline. But now it seems almost there's been a role reversal because Mountain View has really struggled to get things going offensively now, and there's a turnover, so it's going to be Frank Cox's ball, but they really haven't been able to just kind of put it together offensively. Frank Cox's defense has stepped up every time Mountain View has been threatening, and Frank Cox seems to be very quick, very aggressive in their offensive attack. Their possessions don't last long, but they usually come up with a pretty good shot. And there's a goal line. Inside the 25. I couldn't tell if someone relayed that in or not.
Yeah,
Kind of getting blocked here by a railing.
Yeah, no touch by any of the other attacks, so that just comes out as a 16-yard.
Okay.
At one time, we did have the ability to score from anywhere, but it's now confined to scoring from inside the circle.
view, trying to work the ball around, get something offensively. They're inside the 25. There's a shot on the goal, but just wide. Looks like it went left or right there. So Cox can get the ball back.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot at this.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Alright, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
And at this point, obviously, the feeling the opponent outstage is over, and they are on full attack mode right now. And we've got a whistle here. So Mountain View is going to get possession. Ball's on the near side of the field, right in front of us. And it's launched down the field just out of reach for Mountain View. And it's going to go out of play. And there's some significant contact there. And again, Terry, we talked about earlier, this is definitely a contact sport. Anyone who tells you otherwise, well, they haven't watched it.
Yeah, I think that's basic physics. Two bodies can't occupy the same space at the same time.
And we've got a penalty corner here. Again, this is from the same spot that the Falcons managed to score from earlier in the first half. We'll see if Mountain View comes up with the same result. Again, this is one of the more exciting parts of the game here.
And once again, like I said, that first 5 minutes is crucial, and this is within the first 5 minutes of the second half. So Mountain View's trying to make a statement here.
And they get a shot, but it is saved by Becca Hess. And she has come up big here for the Frank W. Cox Falcons throughout the day. She's had a couple nice saves.
Now, I haven't really been keeping any stats, but I think Mountain View probably does hold the edge in shots.
Mountain View threatening again. They've got the ball down the field. They've got the Falcons on the run here. Ball's on the far sideline. And it's going to go out of play. So the Falcons are going to get possession back. Mountain View starting off pretty strong in this second half here. Being a lot more aggressive. Defensively, they're really shutting the Falcons down so far. I mean, I know we're still early, but the difference in play between now and the first half is like night and day with the aggression factor. And Mountain View getting the ball up the field. And they're on the attack again. Something going and it's deflected off of a Falcons player foot, but Mountain View still has the ball. They've got the Falcons on the run again. And there's a shot, but it's going to go wide right. Mountain View still going to hang on to the ball. These possessions are long possessions by the Wildcats. The ball's going to go out of play on the near sideline. I'd say that was a pretty solid possession there for Mountain View. those odds are pretty good. But Mountain View, again, I mean, they have put together quite an impressive resume to get here. They've been here in the state semifinals 4 times. A lot of those are very recent years, and then they are undefeated so far this year in the regular season. So they are a top-notch program. So we're seeing, without a doubt, 2 of the best programs in the state going at it. And the Falcons getting the ball across midfield. And it's going to go out of play, so Mountain View is going to get possession again. And, I mean, I don't have this stat in front of me, but I would imagine the time of possession for this half has pretty much been dominated by Mountain View.
I would have to agree with that.
And we've got another whistle. Mountain View takes over. They're getting the ball up the field. And they've got the Falcons on the run. And Becca Hess gets out there to try to make a save, and boy, the Falcons are fortunate that ball went out of play because that goal was wide open.
Yeah, when a goalkeeper comes out that far and goes down, you can kind of expose yourself to the possible score. Connecting a little bit better here.
They've got Mountain View on the run now again. Falcons are very fast-paced when they're on offense. They waste no time getting down the field. It's almost it's kind of a run and gun. And that makes for some exciting play. We've got another whistle. And officials signaling that will remain the Falcons' possession. Ball down the corner. And Mountain View goes to the top, but the Falcons still have possession. And Mountain View is going to keep bringing it up the field.
Mountain View's really been good on the counterattack this half.
They're putting it all together a lot better now. They've had some opportunities to score, but again, that goalkeeper, Becca Hess, is just not allowing it to happen. But Mountain View has had quite a few quality shots, especially in the second half. They're in play right in front of us here on the sideline. The ball's going to go out of play right next to the goal, so the Falcons are going to get possession again. Shots on goal.
And it looks like they just drew another corner.
And that's 3 here in this half. And they're hoping that they can capitalize on this one. They've missed out on the first 2. And they just can't connect there on that play. So now the Falcons are going to get possession. Oh, and not sure who that was, but someone just took a shot. Ball was launched right into what looked like her. So I can imagine that that's not comfortable. It's going to be quite a stinger.
Yes, definitely, especially on a cold day. And we have trainers coming out to attend to the athlete.
And that cannot feel good.
I don't know. It sounded more like flesh to me.
Yeah, I mean, especially around that area. I mean, my goodness, I don't like. Well, with that, we're going to take a quick break here and just we'll be right back here on VHSL.com with the state semifinal match.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot at this.
It looks like that your player's okay. She walked off the field. It's always nice to see and play resume here. That's usually the standard across the board for a lot of sports. When the training comes up to speed, you got to come out of the game because they want to make sure you're good to go and come back in at some point. Mountain View couldn't get a good shot on it. And right here we see the goalkeeper come out, and there was a good shot, but just a little bit wide. Looks like we've got another timeout, so we're going to take another quick break. Again,
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot at this.
that possession. And again, this is the AAA state semifinals field hockey match between the Mountain View Wildcats and the Frank W. Cox Falcons. Neither one of these teams strangers to the postseason. And that's evidenced by the relatively low scoring game. Is 1-0 still. Both these teams are just playing extremely well. And Mountain View on the attack here. They've got momentum coming down the field. And they just can't connect there. They got an opportunity for a shot, but it just didn't happen. But we've got a penalty corner, it looks like. So this is going to be number 4, I believe, Terry, in the half.
It's either 4 or 5.
So let's see if Mountain View can connect finally on one of these. They're getting lots of opportunities to knot this game up at 1 apiece.
That's a little miscue there.
And the Falcons take it right away and capitalize on that miscue. And they're bringing the ball up the field right in front of us, but Mountain View bringing it right back to them. Ball's out of play, near sideline. So the Falcons are going to take it out, and Mountain View going to try and get another takeaway on defense. They've had plenty. Now, Terry, in your opinion, I mean, what does Mountain View have to do to kind of polish off these possessions? I mean, they're getting good looks, but it just seems once they get their chance to take a shot, just something is miscued. What do they now have to do to make sure that they're getting what the end result should be, and that's some points?
They need to get somebody on the end of the save. Like I said, Becca Hess has been making the initial first save, and then it's allowed the Falcon defense to clear it. And Mountain View isn't getting any second shots, and that's really crucial because once the goalkeeper makes a save, then she kind of becomes vulnerable.
Yeah, that's very true. Getting a second shot, especially after a save. I mean, we've talked about how, there can be vulnerabilities when a goalkeeper is, occupied elsewhere. And Mountain View had another great opportunity to score there, but now the Falcons are going to get possession, so they're coming down the field. Mountain View takes it away again. They're not letting the Falcons get anywhere near their territory, but they just haven't been able to connect offensively. And they sure could use another penalty corner or another good shot, but they're running out of time. We're over halfway through the second half. We're about the 12-minute mark. So they've got to get something going here soon.
It looks like we have another timeout.
But that will take another break, but make sure you stay tuned. We're still going to be coming to you live here. I'm Taylor Simpson, alongside by Terry Sawyer.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot at this.
And welcome back to Virginia Beach. I'm Taylor Jensen, joined alongside Terry Sawyer. We are sitting right under the 13-minute mark. We got about 12 minutes, 41 seconds left of play here in the state semifinal. And we see a Frank W. Cox High School Falcons lead 1-0 over the Mountain View Wildcats. And the Falcons bringing the ball down the field, and they seem to be a little bit more aggressive coming out of that timeout. But Mountain View, again, they are absolutely dominating the time of possession here in the second half. But they just haven't been able to hit pay dirt. The Falcons on the attack here. And these girls can run. Frank Cox has some speed on their team. Mountain View with another takeaway. They're not letting the Falcons get anywhere close to scoring a goal here in the second period. They've really locked it down defensively.
Yeah, there really hasn't been that many penetrations into their offensive circle by the Falcons.
And the ball is going to sail towards the near sideline. Mountain View will get possession. And now Mountain View seems to be getting close to having a takeaway. They've got it around midfield. And they're on the run here. She's got a nice little breakaway. And the ball is out of play right in front of the fans, right in front of us. Boy, this game is getting awful competitive here in the later stages. And Mountain View is going to get the ball back. It seems like there was a penalty there, so.
Yeah, I believe the official called the lift dangerous and sent the ball back against the Falcons.
So that could prove costlier because Mountain View is now in great position offensively. The ball is deflected. But every time that Mountain View has had the ball down around this area, they have really milked the clock and gotten some quality possessions and some good shots. So right now, the Falcons have got to step up and play some solid defense. And they are really crowding around that goal every time the Wildcats inch closer to it. Not letting anything get through. This has been good defense so far by the Falcons. They just got to clear this to get Mountain View out of this threatening area. We've got a shot, and there's a goal by Mountain View. What a clutch play there by the Wildcats. And if I'm not mistaken, that was number 5, Gretchen Geisler, on the goal. Wow, that was clutch. We have got a 1-1 game, and we are at the 6-minute mark roughly in the second half. And boy, did Mountain View need that. That was huge. So now things really get interesting here. We'll see if one team can come away with a game winner before the end of regulation. That would just be huge. And there has been a sudden momentum shift here to the Wildcats, and they seem to be just absolutely in control in this second half.
Yeah, the odds start to go against you when you face that many shots.
And one thing you don't want, if you're Frank W. Cox High School right now, is a sudden death overtime with Mountain View getting this many shots. We've got a timeout here on the field. So we're going to step away and take a quick break, but stay tuned. Things are getting awful interesting here in Virginia Beach. I'm Taylor Jensen, joined alongside Terry Sawyer. Stay tuned.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play on School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
The Falcons try to clear it, but it's going to go right back into Mountain View possession. And they're getting it up the field quickly, but it's going to go out of play on the far sideline, so the Falcons get possession back. And we've got another player hit, but play goes on. Sacrificing the body to make a play. Boy, has this game gotten interesting. We're at the 3-minute mark here in the second half, and we've got a tie game. Both teams trying to avoid going into overtime.
And the Falcons draw their first corner of this half.
Wow, so this is interesting here because the last time we saw the Falcons get a penalty corner, that's where they got their goal. So we'll see if they can make it 2 for 2. And now everybody's definitely on their feet, holding their breath, fingers crossed. I suggest you listeners out there do the same because this could decide the game, potentially. And Mountain View just not having it, and they get a shot on the goal, though, but it's going to go wide, so Mountain View manages to avoid the scare. And they are going to get possession back, and it's out of play again on the far sideline. And Mountain View can breathe a sigh of relief for coming up with that stop. And boy, the Falcons are really doing a good job of attacking right now. Mountain View late in the game. They are very aggressive. And we've got another penalty corner. Boy, the Falcons are really putting the pressure on Mountain View and their defense. This is where champions are made on possessions like these. And Mountain View gets the takeaway. So they have managed to come up with stops on both of the penalty corners. We're nearing the 1-minute mark, so we're really in crunch time here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
1 match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot at this.
Welcome back to Virginia Beach, Virginia. I'm Taylor Jensen, joined alongside Terry Sawyer. And again, we are coming to an overtime period. End of regulation just happened, and Mountain View managed to come up with a clutch goal around the 6-minute mark, and the Falcons could not answer back to put the game away. So we find ourselves in overtime. And Terry, if you could just give some details about how the overtime periods work in field hockey, especially for the high school level, because I know in some different sports it varies from level to level. So how is the overtime period going to work right now?
Well, we're going to go into a 15-minute sudden victory overtime, and it's reduced players. We'll have 6 field players plus the goalkeeper, and they'll be going full field. That's 100 yards, and that's a lot of turf to cover. Defensively, on penalty corners that will be called during this overtime, there will only be 3 defenders plus the goalkeeper back. So this game could be wide open.
Well, this is definitely going to check to see who's in shape here. I heard you talking about off the air because, like you said, this is 100 yards. That is not a short distance to be going, especially when you have fewer players. So you would think that at this stage, whoever's in better shape is going to come out on top, because if you can't run, you can't keep up with the ball, and then you're really in trouble. You put a lot of pressure on your goalie to make stops, and we see that have to do that for Frank Cox. But again, now you've got reduced players, and so you could possibly see a lot more shots on goal, a lot more frequently. So this will be interesting to see how this plays out here in the overtime period. So one of these teams has to go home, unfortunately. It's been an entertaining game. We saw Mountain View really kind of give up a look almost to the Falcons
long out there.
And that's where we talked about, you being able to run the field. Boy, things are getting very suspenseful here in Virginia Beach. I don't think I've seen somebody sitting down since the 6-minute mark in the second half of regulation. Ball's out of play, and it's out of play in Falcon territory, so we'll see if the Wildcats can capitalize here. And it's out of play again on the near sideline. Mountain View still has possession. And this has been a storybook state postseason matchup so far. We are getting just now to the 11-minute mark, and again, these are 15-minute periods. And Mountain View still has possession, trying to find something offensively here. But it's a lot tougher when you have a lot more field to cover and not as many players. And we've got a whistle, and it's going to be Frank Cox's possession here. Now, Terry, what are you seeing? Give me some of your analysis right now as far as what you're seeing both teams' strategies are with these fewer players that are out here on the field.
Again, like I said, they need to maintain possession, and that seems to be in Cox's favor right now. Mountain View has just been able to kind of clear the ball out, and they only have one of their offensive players forward. So Cox is kind of trying to keep it in their attacking end,
which seems kind of opposite to how the trend was during regulation, because Mountain View just dominated time of possession and really just kind of grinded it out with the Falcons, and now we see the absolute reverse, and the Falcons are just taking care of business as far as the possession time goes, and they're getting a lot of opportunities to get quality looks.
Yeah, slight hesitation there, and missed the opportunity to get a shot off.
They're trying to get it into scoring position. Both teams seem to just lock it down, though, once the ball crosses that 25-yard mark.
Well, it kind of goes back to that old saying, offense wins games, defense wins championships.
Oh, we've got a whistle here.
And it looks like that player's going to get a warning. Oh, a yellow card.
Boy, that is huge right now.
Yeah, that's a 5-minute suspension, and the Cox Falcons have to play short until the 4:15 mark.
Well, I tell you what, if you miss the NHL, just come down here and watch some of this field hockey. This is just as good right now, just as suspenseful. And man, Frank Cox really has the pressure on him now, because they are a player down against a good offensive Mountain View team, and they're going to get a good opportunity for a shot, but it's going to go wide. And the Falcons are going to get possession back. Sitting just over the 8-minute mark here, still tied 1-1. This is the first overtime period. And the ball gets launched down the field. No one else there, so it's going to be out of play at the end line.
Well, that's not a bad strategy, because they pinned Mountain View down inside their own defensive 25.
Exactly, and really the Falcons have managed to come away with quite a few takeaways here.
The other thing, too, it's like now the Falcons are going to have to play some team defense since they are numbers down.
That's going to take a lot of communication as well. Communication on defense is key, especially when you're playing a team defense. You have to know where everybody is on the field, because if you lose track of one person, that could be the one who scores the goal. care of that now. Hold your breath. Knock on someone to do something.
Like I say, it comes down to execution.
This could be the game. Everybody on their feet. time when players have to connect, and you've got to put it all together, because if they can manage to score on this, game will be over. They get it inside the defense, but the Falcons get the takeaway, and it's going up the field in the Falcons' possession.
We have a little 2v1. Let's see what happens here.
They've got the numbers and the advantage. Falcons with the shot. And that's goal!
That's the ball game! Whoa, that was awesome.
And the Falcons come away with the goal in the overtime period, and they get the win. Capitalized on the 2-on-1 advantage. And they are going to advance to the state championship game. What a game between the Mountain View Wildcats and the Frank Hawks Falcons.
Who scored that winning goal?
And man, Mountain View is disappointed, but did they play a game or what? They proved that they were a tough out. These are two quality opponents. And you couldn't have asked for a better script to a game at this stage of the season. My goodness.
Yeah, Maddie Humphrey from Cox scored that winning goal off a feed from Caston Farr. So the Falcons will advance to the state championship tomorrow afternoon.
Well, with that being said, your champions in the semifinal match is the Frank W. Cox Falcons, coming out on top in overtime over the Mountain View Wildcats, 2-1. I'm Taylor Jensen, and I was joined alongside by Terry Sawyer. Stay tuned. We've got more state semifinal action coming your way.